What's up, men? Welcome to the Male Cartel podcast. Let's get started.
Do you think men are important? Like for what?
Men are not meant to be dominant. Men are meant to be submissive.
Life's too short to exercise. I'm just gonna be honest.
It's okay to be fat.
Dispelling toxic masculinity and really redefining what it means to be a man. Men can cry. So it's okay to be weak. It's okay to be weak.
I'm telling you right now, not everybody wants to see you win.
You seem to be more woman than you are man. You don't have any manly qualities.
You give them this message that it's okay to be a man.
It's not okay, it's necessary. How are we going to do without men? If you look around the city here, you see all these buildings go up. These men, they're doing impossible things.
It ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Be a dangerous man. Being dangerous is not being a threat. They're two different things. You can't be a good man if you're not a dangerous man. You say one disrespectful thing to my wife, I am not only willing, but I'm able to inflict great bodily damage.
I'm going to do everything in my power to become a victor and not a victim. I can't explain it, but you better feel me. Winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it any better than that. I don't know how it happens, but winners win. And if you create a culture of losing, if you keep being a victim, if you keep letting losing happen to you, if you keep letting people do you and treat you any kind of way, it's going to become a culture. What's the matter with you? There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is no tomorrow.
Here's your host, Nick and Shane.
Hey, men, we back. Male Cartel. This is your host. You already know who it is because you can tell by you already know my voice by now.
Well, maybe for new listeners.
New listeners, the guy that's kind of muffly, that's Shane. And I'm looking at Nicholas.
Shane and Nick. Gobble, gobble.
Hey, it's you know, this is almost an anniversary next week. Do you know what anniversary it is?
Of the Independence.
Independence, yeah. I was really hoping you would get it. Yeah. That's when
worst Thanksgiving of my life.
That's when Nick got his independence removed.
Yep.
You would have thought you would have lost some weight too, right?
I did.
You did. How much weight after the independence?
63 pounds.
He had a 63-pound independence.
It was massive.
I remember that.
It was so embarrassing. Going to the gym afterwards and having these old, probably 70-something-year-old women outwalk me on the track at the North Augusta Rec Center.
Yep.
I was like, but I was out there.
That's it. I mean, that's usually goal number one is getting up. So
that's it.
What's up? What's new? You got something heading up pretty soon, don't you?
I'm headed out today for our Hope Marriage Retreat. We've got to get that set up. That begins tomorrow and goes till Friday.
Okay.
So we'll be headed to that.
You and Nikki, y'all speaking at it, right?
Just myself.
Just you? Talking about controlling women? Is that what it is?
Absolutely. Controlling women.
That goes back to our
I'm just going to play our last episode.
Our last episode, controlling women. Have you got a lot of hate on that yet? It just released yesterday. I haven't seen anything.
I haven't seen anything. I mean, nothing really to hate, but
that's right, dude. I think so too, man. I listened to it this morning, riding around, and then I was laughing at most of the stuff. I was like, I wonder if people would take this the wrong way.
Some will.
Yeah, it's like I felt like we were extremely gentle.
Yeah.
With everything. I loved the hot posture in that. I was curious because I didn't know in the moment. We're just talking. So I was like, uh-oh. I wonder how our posture was. But our posture, yours, mine, I seemed really good. Even Carell's.
Yeah. Well, we've never been hateful to women on this.
No, we love women.
Podcast. We love women. We support women. But we also speak to men issues, and that's something men deal with. And so, it's one of those things of like, if you're saying something about a guy and you get upset, it's like, if it doesn't affect you, then, but it does affect a certain segment of people.
Yeah.
We've talked about this with fitness or whatever. It's like, it may not apply to you, so it might not be for you. So not everything on every episode, I think, applies to everybody. It's one of those things, like even in a sermon, like, oh, I'm doing good with that. But there might be something else that applies. So it's not what we were talking about last week doesn't necessarily apply to every woman, so it's just to those who it would apply to.
That's right.
And in support of the men who deal with it.
That's true. I agree. Yeah, so Thanksgiving's upon us. Do you have any fond memories of Thanksgiving?
2007 when.
So how about when you were a kid? Do you have any, like, when you think of Thanksgiving as a, like, we'll say, I'll give you a context because I'm pretty interested in it. We'll say 14 and below. 14 and below. So 14's like, could be 8th grade or 9th grade. So depending on. So what's your like, when you think of that at that age, what's the first thing that pops in your mind?
For me, family. And we always get together with family for Thanksgiving, have a big, get together, usually with my mom's side. We would usually go see my dad's side of the family around Christmas. So usually it was with my mom's family, which is here local, most of them. So yeah, it's just getting out in the yard, playing flag football with the cousins, hanging out, just family time, and then good food. So it's always been a fond memory for me. I know some people, holidays aren't great for them, but for me, it's always been focused around family and, just getting together with everyone and having good food. So
You said good food. Yeah, that's like me. I mean, I think about that. Thanksgiving was always my grandma's house for Thanksgiving. And it was always the deal. And then Christmas Eve was my grandma's house. So the whole family would come, both of those packed house. And then Christmas Day, we never saw my grandma. We did my dad's family. And then when I got married, we always do Diana's, my wife's families. But Christmas Eve, when everybody died, passed away, we just kind of do our own thing, or we go to like Daddy Mike's house. So now that's been the traditional thing that we go do. And then actually this Thanksgiving, we'll go Thanksgiving Day to spend time with Daddy Mike and all that stuff. We're not going to. But no. I think when I go back when I was a kid, 14 below, dude, I always fell asleep on the couch. Even when I was like a middle schooler, I'd be on the couch, and my head is I would always sleep on my granddaddy. And I don't know why it was always like that, but I'd have my head on his belly as a little bitty boy, probably like kindergarten, first grade and stuff. And then when I got older, obviously was like I just rest my head on the shoulder. But I was playing, and I was a very sick kid, anemic, So I was always sleeping. Like middle of the day, I was probably taking 2 naps. They found me underneath the tree one time when I was 4 years old.
Really?
Yeah, they sent the helicopters, dogs.
Oh, because they didn't know where you were at.
Yeah, this is in the 80s. This is like 1981. They couldn't find me. And so they had like helicopters. They sent the hounds. They did all this crazy stuff where they last saw me.
Did they make that movie after you?
Which one?
Flight of the Navigator?
No, but that's an awesome movie.
It is. It's one of my favorite childhood movies.
Didn't it start off
with... Is that you?
It is not me, but isn't that like... It wasn't Flight of the Navigator. Wasn't that like a video game system?
No. The kid goes as it's a spaceship.
That's right.
And then he disappears for years.
That's it. That's right.
And he's on the ship, and then when he comes back, he's still young, but his siblings are older, his parents are older, and they're all wanting to study him.
I remember that now.
Yeah, it's got the little cute characters in the spaceship.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I fell asleep underneath this tree. I was playing, and I went off, and I was they found me like, I think my mom said like 3 hours later.
Wow. That's a long nap.
Yeah, because it was like, in the 80s, it was, people were scared, kidnapping people, vans. And so that was like a red line thing.
Milk
and
cartons.
In the little city, they had that. And then they released, I think they said helicopters looking for them, flying overhead in the woods. And then they sent dogs through the other side of the woods. And so they just thought I was like out there or somebody, tracking down cars and blocked off the streets. And they found me underneath the tree asleep, like on the back side of the property, just asleep.
Just curled up and said, "This feels like Papa's
I had a bad
belly."
Habit. Dude, bad habit. Like I can remember being like 8 years old too. I just would go and find a spot. Listen. There would be an old chair in the barn, and I would just go and play. And I was like, I'm a little tired right now, and I would sit and I would go to sleep. I can't, it's weird, man. It's like, but I can sleep anywhere,
Well,
So,
especially on Thanksgiving, you eat a good meal.
right.
You
And
won't take a
that was
nap.
like, I live for Thanksgiving because we didn't have much food. But on that day, I mean, I would gorge
Stored
myself.
up for the
Bro,
nap.
I would eat so much. Oh, man. But this Thanksgiving, I don't know what I'm going to do. Because I don't even know what I'm going to eat. This will be crazy.
Oh, it'd be hard.
So it's going to
Were you able to eat in the sweet
I
potatoes?
was. It was awesome.
It was good.
It was fantastic. I ate it as a meal. 2 meals, bro.
So,
I literally ate it as 2 meals.
yeah.
2 meals, and I had some left over for dessert, and that was it.
For dessert. It's almost like a dessert.
Yeah, it really was. It was like 2 meals, and then you're not getting my taste back. So whatever I eat has to be like super rich. Unless that, I barely can taste it. And so, but I could tell you, Mama put a lot of butter in it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then I love the little pecan stuff on it. I have to eat it weird,
Yeah, she had asked about that, and I was like, I don't know.
Might but I did it. Yeah, it wasn't a ton of that. It just had it on the top. And so, but tore it up. I was eating it like I would eat it. I would warm it up, and I would eat around it, and then after I eat around it, then I would mix it up, and then I ate it almost like you would eat like ice cream.
Yeah,
it's kind of how I would eat in a bowl. So I'm hoping that we'll have something like that, and I can actually eat chicken wings if it's smoked, the flats, and take the meat off it because usually if it's super tender, and I take it and I have to do it privately, and then eat like a chipmunk, just on my front teeth because I really can't.
Kind of like
I can't
Ace
move my
Ventura.
Eat like corn on the cob because I can't use my tongue.
Yeah.
So it
just teeth.
Yeah, it just prohibits, dude. And so, but I'm better if I have meat. I chop it up. And so I don't want to puree it because I can't swallow it, bro.
Yeah.
It's the texture thing that gets me. And so I don't do any of that. So people have asked me, and I was like, no, even barbecue. I've gotten barbecue. What I do is I chop one side, flip it, chop, mix it up, and chop it one side and then back side. So it's really like super thin. And it's not puree or anything. And then I have to put like a sweet sauce on it that's like heavy.
Yeah.
Mix it all up, and then I can swallow it. If it's stringy, it's just gonna get stuck everywhere. I can't do anything with it. And then I'll rinse my mouth out, and it'll be like 2 spoonfuls, like literally. Like it's crazy, dude, because I don't have anything in my mouth. It's like a big hole, and then my tongue is so little, like it can't pick stuff out of my teeth. So I don't know where. It's just everything is stuck. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So it just makes it where and then I'll get, just as men, we get frustrated, easily. Maybe work on a car or something like that. It's been very frustrating for me eating food. It's where I taste something and I can taste it, and I go, "Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this," and it gets where it's hard to do. And dude, I just get like extremely aggravated, like almost in my flesh. And then be like, whatever your favorite meal would be. And then you take one little bite and you think it's going to be amazing. And then you can't eat it.
Yeah.
And then you're always hungry. And it's just like, you're like, man, that urge, that appetite. We talk about addictions and stuff like that. It's kind of like that in a way. And then I get frustrated and I go, forget it. I'm just going to do liquid diet. So, but the last few days, 5 days, I got scans this week. So when this episode releases, I'd already had my scan and my hematology appointment. So it's a big deal. We're about to go
So
down.
about next episode, we might know.
Yeah. Then the next one we'll know because December 1st is the big 2 oncology deals. So we'll find out then kind of what's up. But and we'll know December 1st too if I'm gonna have another surgery. So I'll have. So you're kind of like, if you don't like to wait, then this will be a very frustrating thing for people. Like, cause you're just waiting, bro.
Yeah,
you're just waiting, and then like I don't feel right. You don't feel, and you're supposed to be feeling much better by now, and then so you're just in your head. You're like, well, what if? But honestly, for me, I was talking to Monty the other day. I said, for me, I'm open to cancer again. I don't don't scare me at all. Like, none of that scares me. But I want to be cancer free and everything fine so bad for my family, people who love me, because I've been praying. I want that. Sounds weird, more than myself. You know, I want for myself. I want to have the ability to feel okay. So I want to be able to eat food that I want to eat. I want to be able to not get as tired all the time, and not to be in discomfort all the time. That's what I want. But right now it's like if I have to have another surgery because they say cancer's in there, because they wouldn't do another treatment with me. There's only like one other option, or some like T-cell therapy type of stuff. But like all we would really do is just cut everything out, have some more surgeries, in which, well, I'm not eating food right now, so like they don't bother me none at all. Like it really wouldn't. I mean, it wouldn't. But my kids would love it. Like they would just be amazing. And people who've been praying for a while, it'd be just one of those things they can just praise the Lord for. So
yeah.
I will be grateful though unto the Lord if that happens. But it don't worry me at all.
Yeah, and someone in our church, I think it's his brother-in-law, he was sharing with us because he was asking for prayer that similar. This is like the third case I've heard where they go in and I guess find out he had same cancer. And I guess they found out once they got in, it was more extensive than what they originally thought. So they ended up having to cut more. And they've, I guess, had to cut almost most of his tongue out. And then they had to do the reconstruction with the muscle in the leg, which they had discussed with you. But because of your blood disorder, they decided to do something different. So where you were able to talk and do various different things, he's on the opposite end of that. So, you know, you think about people like that because you see what you're having to manage and deal with. You at least have about 50% of your taste back, even though that's difficult having to grind up food and all that. And then on his end, he goes in thinking it's not going to be as extensive, and it sounds like they had to remove more, which means his taste buds are probably completely gone. He can't talk. You know, it's just crazy.
How far is he in?
Relatively, I think he's back at work, but he's right on the tail end of you. Like his happened right shortly after you.
Right. Yeah, so. It's crazy because
but see, he didn't have the blood clot set him back and all as well. But he can only what they were sharing, what the guy was sharing was he can kind of mumble, and people are able to understand what he's saying, but there's no clear words. So
and like, to be honest, like, you just have to. So like his thigh muscle. So did they make a total, like almost a rebuild? Like
that's what I am under the. Yeah, that's what I assume.
Because you know it's like some people like historically. If you ever seen people when they talk, they open their whole mouth and they pronunciate things like really, really well.
Yeah.
So they're using all their tongue, they're using all their entire mouth to like pronunciate stuff. We always say that they're very animated, right? So like my wife is very everybody, like my wife is very animated. She even shows it on her forehead. She uses her mouth really well. And there are people like me, who's always been joking around that I talk so fast that I barely open my mouth sometimes when I talk, and so it sounds like I mumble.
More like a ventriloquist.
So like so I always feel like, you know, for some people who are very animated, it has to be harder on them to learn how to talk again. And then I would even say, like, dude, it is very painful. Think about, like, those who are listening, think about like you bite your tongue. So think of a billion times harder than that. And then all of a sudden you've got to use that thing nonstop. Eat, taste, you know, speak, drinking water. You still have to swallow, you gotta use your tongue. So like you're using all that, and so it's just you gotta know in your head, like, man, this is going to be like the hardest thing, and then you have to work 100 times harder to do that. And so it's definitely a mindset, because we never thought that I would have. We talked about having another surgery to cut the side of my tongue and to open it up, because it's all tied down.
Yeah.
And so that I can talk much better. So it was like, chances are probably not going to be very, like, my profession is talking. And so we're not going to be able to talk very good. And I was just so determined, like, honestly, in the hospital, just using my throat, like we said before, ventriloquist. Hey, how you on? Hey, I'm doing good. Yeah. Like that. I'm not even using my tongue at all to do that. I'm just using vocal cords and just trying to do that. And then, like, I have to do it, even though it's painful. So, like, but I know a few people that've taken out their thigh muscle and have put it in there, and then it's just a wow that getting that giant muscle to. My mouth is different because my tongue is half the size, so like I was able to keep, as far as my tongue, half of my tongue I can taste on. The other side, there's really nothing. It's just inside my mouth.
Yeah.
So I got a smaller tongue. So you kind of think about it. If I had a longer tongue, they were built for my thigh, formulated, because what they'll do sometimes too, they'll put a tongue and then they it's weird. They cut it open and they fashion it and they try to leave as much taste buds as possible on it so you can taste. But it's not really like that. So it's weird, man. I'll be praying for old boy because that's a deal. But at least he's back in the. Does he listen to the podcast?
No, it's just someone that we were asked to pray for. I mean, his brother-in-law might, but he was just he's in our group and was asking us to pray, and he's giving us kind of updates and stuff like that. But just hearing all that, especially in this Thanksgiving season, those are things we take for granted. The ability, like one day you're able to eat, you're able to taste, no pain, and then you find out you have cancer, or now you gotta have surgery, and it's just it's almost like overnight, literally. Everything changes. I know you were dealing with some of the pain and stuff up to that, but just hearing your story, I'm sitting here thinking, like, the ability to enjoy certain things and to eat it. It's those small things we take for granted that you just do every day. It's just routine. And then, you hear somebody else that loses that ability or whatever that might be, and just makes you realize, like, I really take that for granted. It just becomes a routine. So
yeah, I mean, I can be honest. I definitely took that for granted. And when my mouth was killing me in January, I knew. And then where I couldn't eat hardly anything. Like I was using numbing medicine that would last about 2 minutes just to eat food. More numbing medicine. I was going through a container of numbing medicine in like every 5 days. And that thing was $10 a pop.
Wow.
And I was trying to hide it as long as I could. And then when I knew it was bad, Nick, I mean, when I knew that it was really bad, that's when I was like, I started being overwhelmed because I knew it was cancer. Like everything online, all the pictures, how gross it was and how big and everything. Then you're just figuring things out. But I haven't even eaten a real food. I would consider real food eaten like December of last year. Like really to eat food and enjoy. Other than that, I'm just eating to survive. January, February, and it's crazy to think about, but it's wild. But
well, being that you've been through it, what are maybe your top 3 things this year you could look back and be grateful for?
Oh man, my top 3 grateful for, man, so much to be grateful for. I'll say, obviously, my family. More grateful for them than probably every point in my life. I can never, every point, since I had kids. I mean, whatever. But at 14 years, my daughter's 14. But like my family, because when I was down and out, they just took care of me. So I usually do all the taking care of. That's kind of how it is in my home. When somebody gets sick, they want dad. So usually it's the mom. In our home, it's different. They want dad. And so this time, everybody took care of me. My wife and my kids came in the bathroom. My son emptied my pee jug when I finally got a pee jug. It's crazy. 2, I'd say, oh man, so many things to be grateful for. I mean, just the ability to talk is pretty cool. I really didn't think I'll be able to talk right. So I hate listening to my voice. I listen to the podcast, so I listen to my voice. And I listen. I go, oh man, like I'm talking so good. Like when they said that there was a high probability I wouldn't, but I'm pretty proud of that. Very grateful for that.
Absolutely.
And good friends. All the cliche things, pretty much. This is a year. I think when you have a year of suffering, it's like just another trial for me, added to my list of trials. Simple stuff. I'm grateful that somebody invented a pee jug. So I use that pee jug all the time, man. Y'all think I'm crazy, but that pee jug was phenomenal. I'm grateful.
He's still using it to this day.
Yep.
Realize the convenience of it. It's like, you know what?
Pee jug. I'm really grateful at people who just, like I said, friends, people who just show up when you actually need them.
Yeah.
And I'm a pretty private guy, and you know that. So it's like I don't ask nobody to help. Sometimes I'll die before I ask people to help me, which I have to get rid of that, obviously, but do a better job at that. But I'm grateful for for all that. Yeah. It's a lot to be grateful for. This is just a year. I'll probably get teared up. I walked on stage Sunday at church, and they asked me to pray. I was on our schedule to be a part of. I hadn't been a part of a service, but a baptism in August. Didn't think I was gonna make that one, but I did. And so the first time I set foot on the stage since February, and I did just to pray. That was it. Transitional type of stuff. Pray before the message, dude. I got hemmed up, bro. I was fine. It didn't even bother me. When I got on that stage, though, it was like, whoa. As I was walking to the stage, because, as a speaker, you think sometimes when you're speaking about something different, So it's a lot of different things that are going through your mind. And I was thinking the whole time, I've been on this stage since February.
Yeah.
And I got emotional. And I prayed. And I knew people knew that, too. Second hour, I wasn't like that. But first hour, it hit me. When I got on stage, and I was like, man, I had a golf stage, and I just exit stage.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all later on, because I was like too hemmed up. But how about you, man? What about this year?
I know, once again, family's cliche, but the different your experience this year. Your team your family, like a team, rallied together. You saw them in a different light, and so we're in a different season. Both of our boys have now moved out, and our daughter has graduated. She's doing night school, and so we're in a different stage now, but definitely grateful for my family, grateful to see how Lord's opening doors for Nikki. I mean, she's had several opportunities this year to go speak and at ladies events and to participate in different events that she probably would have turned down years ago, and just seeing how God's opening those doors and giving opportunities to her, whereas for years it was me, and she's at home, taking care of the kids, and now God's opened doors for her to be able to go to Africa. She has the opportunity again this upcoming year to go. Just coming back, they had a goal of 10 children to be sponsored. It's one thing to hear about sponsorships and things like that. Through World Help, the organization that she went through, they were asking everyone to basically try to sponsor 10 kids, because they saw the reality of the situation. They saw the care groups, they saw the children and met them. So they saw like, this is legit. And one of the things she loved about the founder or the head person of World Help, this lady is like you could say a CEO. I mean, she's the head person. She's in the dirt of Africa playing with kids and not worried about her clothes and all that. That's her passion. That's her heart. It's not just like, this is a position. So she saw the genuineness and the greatness of this organization. Well, she comes home and influences 50 sponsors. Their goal for 10 plus ladies was 130. And Nikki was able to get 50 of those sponsored. And so she has the opportunity again this year to go. And they've talked to her about some other opportunities. So just seeing God, really allow her to blossom our boys have two great girlfriends, Mylan and Kaylin, and we look at them just like they're not married, but we look at them like daughters. I mean, they're around us enough that we look at them as if they're our own. And so just seeing how God has built our family, and even our boys being older, making decisions for themselves and how they're processing things, you just are grateful that where you've gotten it wrong so many times, you see where obviously, hopefully you did something right, because you see that your kids are making good decisions and things like that.
And then Haley, she ain't grateful that she ain't dating, because she can't date till she's 80 or something.
She's not dating, and and to see her growing and blossoming herself and maturing. You go through some rough patches, especially with teenage girls, and to see her even stepping out of that phase and into more of a mature phase, and there's so much to be grateful for there, and just the life and the health that the Lord has blessed your family with, the protection just a couple of years ago with Gavin, and just there's so much. And then I would say from a ministry standpoint, seeing our men really step up, it's changing really the trajectory of our church, and really changing the church as a whole.
Saturday? I was trying to come Saturday. You had a men's breakfast.
Yeah, we had almost 50 men. I was trying to come and
surprise you. We had a high school lock-in. So Monty told me, slipped the news to me, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna try to make it, and I couldn't get out in time. So,
well, I almost had asked if you were free to speak at that one, and then I was like, this is the end of the year, beginning of the new year. I really want to set the tone going into the new year. And so we had right at around 50 men. I know a couple had to back out, but you always have some guys show up that don't register. And so it went really well, and just kind of shared some vision with the men, and looked at Nehemiah and just how it was the men who rebuilt the wall, and they had a common purpose and a shared mission. And that as men of the church, that's, we have a common purpose, and shared what that was, and a shared mission, and really just called men to rally around that, and to be the leaders in their homes and in the church. And, everything doesn't have to be organized from a church standpoint. There's certain things that if you see that there's a need, this is your church. You are the church.
Yeah.
And so really men are responding to that. And I mean, there were days a couple of years ago, we were, you might have 8 to 10 men show up. And we kind of changed the strategy on our men's breakfast and Bible studies. And now, I mean, we haven't had less than 30 men in over a year. So men are coming to those type of events and stuff, but we're calling them to more than just a one-off event too. Yeah. We're calling them into a ministry. So that to see the men respond just a couple weeks ago, seeing the men hanging around, talking with one another, the relationships they're building, seeing other men and really gravitating to like connecting with them, and that's been a good thing. And then I would say really the influence that God has really even given us. You couldn't be at Men of Valor this year, but having that opportunity once again to pour into men there and hearing from men, I think that's the other side, is we can pour into other people. We can do ministry, and oftentimes it can be, we've heard the cliche that it's a thankless job, and there's some truth to that. But hearing from other men, getting thank yous, hearing from guys, we're their favorite podcast, and sometimes you haven't even met that person, and it's just like it's surreal and kind of crazy. But just yesterday, I was sharing with you before we started recording that I had gotten a text from, and I'll say his name, Dustin, local pastor, and just really share. He was praising the podcast and sharing about an episode he enjoyed, but then also was sharing his own fitness journey and just the results. Man, it was awesome seeing his results of the work he's putting in. But to get a thank you for that when we get heat for posting things. And I told him, I said, these texts are the reason that I post those things, because I want to inspire and motivate other people. And I know just over the last couple of years, at least 12 people, not when we had a little discussion going back and forth about the health of pastors, I was sitting there counting the people, and I counted at least 12 that have personally sent me messages that said, because you were posting whatever, it motivated me in my own fitness journey. And to see them having results just makes you grateful. And then really, before we, kind of bring this to a conclusion, I if I could encourage men something, and I'm not saying this to pat myself on the back, something I have asked the Lord, and I think all of us should ask the Lord, is to not only make us teachable, but to give us a sense of humility to where we remain grateful even for the small things. There are some mornings that I'm standing in a hot shower and it just makes me grateful to the fact that I'm standing in a hot shower where other people aren't. I have a roof over my head. I got out of a comfortable bed, and I want to always remain having a heart that can express that kind of gratitude, because I think the opposite of gratitude is entitlement and expectation that I deserve something, and I don't deserve anything.
That's right.
And I know one of the things that I've appreciated about you since I've known you is even praying over a meal, you recognize that there are people who don't have what we have. Yeah. And I know you're dealt with your own struggle this year of even eating food, but you've always acknowledged and had that heart of gratitude, even just praying over a simple meal and lifting up people that don't have what we have. And I just always want to maintain that mentality, because when we get outside of that, it leads to negative things that are not good for us, especially as followers of Jesus. And so I hope the Lord always allows me to have a heart of gratitude and protects me against entitlement and pride that I deserve something that He's blessed me with and He's given me with. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm also grateful, and I'll shut up with this, but over the last several months, just being grateful for having a solid logic grasp of truth and not getting caught up in some of the craziness that people get.
Oh yeah,
they're deceived by and things like that. Having a solid foundation and not being swayed by the wind of conspiracy theories and all these different things. You look at people and you're like, why can't you see the foolishness? And I just thank God that thankfully He's given me some sort of foundation to build my life on and not be swayed by the winds of culture and politics and all emotions and all those type things. So
dude, I say that oftentimes distraction leads to deception, and you begin to believe lies, and so what happens is you got like 10,000 things screaming at you, conspiracies, etc., and it's easy to be distracted, kind of like a magician who just like sleight of the hand. Next thing you know, you believe in something that was there, like somebody got sawed in half, you know? And that's easy to do. So that's a good thing for men is, don't and deception leads to defeat usually, and so you'll lose every time with that. I agree with you. Heart of gratitude. How we have a heart of gratitude, we must fix our eyes, and we must remind ourselves, and we must lock into that. And it's a daily thing it's always a good practice to rewind the tape, look at all what you have.
Yeah.
Look what you have, not what you don't have.
Yeah.
And because you'll forget about what you do have if you focus on what you don't have. And so you'll have to rewind the tape, and then in that heart posture, like you said, instead of entitlement, we say, God, thank you very much. And you're able to see all those markers, the breadcrumbs. And science proves it, man. Like, you can Google me. You can get on the Google on the line, and you can look it up yourself. Research proves it. I got a bunch of research right here. I'm not going to read it to you, but I did it before our podcast. And we're going to talk about gratitude, and the research is there. You can look for it yourself. But gratitude changes everything.
Yeah.
And definitely changes your attitude.
Yeah.
And so, but we want to be men of character and integrity. And oftentimes, we have to start with gratitude. And usually from that, it sets us. It's, I would say better, it settles us.
Yeah.
You ever seen something that you build a sandcastle? You ever done that with your kids when you were little? And I always think of like putting the sand in And because when the kids are little, they just dump it in, and then when it does, it don't form right, and it just crumbles.
Yeah.
You can even put something on it, but you have a little bit of water to it, and you get it where it's settled, and then you put it on, and you settle it. Like you just really have to move it just a little bit, and you get it settled. It's way more sturdy, and so I always feel like sometimes in my life, like I have to get settled, so that I just don't crumble.
Yeah, and
so there's probably a rap in there too.
Maybe
settle.
Bill can write that.
He can write that. But all right, that's a wrap.
And I want to say,
grateful for producer
grateful for Carell. We would not sound as good as we do. We would not. A lot of this wouldn't be possible without him. So thank you, Carell. We appreciate you.
Yep, appreciate him.
A lot of extra work he puts in to make this happen.
And he's wearing an MTV shirt, which.
Old school.
I appreciate that because these young backs, they have no idea what MTV was.
Yeah.
So appreciate that.
I got to run because I got to hit the road. But guys, cool weather is coming. So get you a Male Cartel hoodie at malecartel.com. Hit the merch button and you can order that. There's one flat rate shipping for that. So you can order some t-shirts, hats, get it all. And we'd love for you to represent the podcast wherever you go. Plus, they're cool hoodies. They're a black on black, very subtle, but nice hoodie. I've already worn it once. It got cold enough to put it on, and it's a nice warm hoodie if you're in a cold region or when the weather gets cold. So go get you one.
Go get swagged out. Hey, get 1% better.
We'll see you. Have a great Thanksgiving.
Thank you for joining the Male Cartel podcast. Be sure to subscribe and share to help other men join the cartel. You can also keep up with us on social media and at malecartel.com.